YouTube modeling community, all my Styrene Senecas brothers and sisters, and all my subs. How you guys doing today? Not doing too bad. Thanks for asking. Welcome to another edition of Shop Talk. This will be number 2. Now, don't get used to me saying which one it is, because once it gets above like 3, I'll forget, and I'll just say, welcome to Shop Talk. But number 2, pretty easy to remember. Today, I would like to talk to you guys about brushes, and that's hair, not this hair, but the other hair brushes. Like I told you guys before in one of my videos, that I had bought the Citadel small layer, medium layer, and a dry brush. And this is basically going to be the update for that, because I told you I'd let you guys know how I like them and so on and so forth. So, brushes are like anything, it boils down to you get what you pay for. I know it's, trust me, I'm thrifty kind of guy, and I cringe at the thought of having to replace one of my brushes, one of my good brushes, because that's, it can go from 14 to 20 bucks depending on the day of the week per brush. So yeah, it's kind of an ouch, Now I do have some brushes that I am going to end up trying in the future, that I've heard really good stuff about. There's some Sharps that I want to try out, some Da Vinci's and some Raphael's that I also want to try out. Right now, what I'm using are, of course, the Citadel brushes that I bought, and my Series 7s that I bought, back some time ago. Plus a bunch of the other brushes that I picked up here and there along the way. That, trust me, they're not worth the hair they're made with. They've been basically put into my, I don't care what I use them with kind of pile. Granted, I have, enamels, which I don't use very much anymore. So those brushes don't really see a lot of use. And acrylic brushes. So pretty much everything that's in my turntable or carousel, whatever you want to call that thing, is mostly acrylic brushes. Now I do need to set aside a couple of my brushes to work with oils. That's something that I'm going to start getting into more and more. So I'm going to have to either buy a new set of brushes for the oils, or just take some of my acrylic ones and just move them over to the oil stash. Now, let's get into this. Go ahead and trans over here, and we have brushes. Now, these are the ones that I bought, the Citadels. These are, these are the ones you can pick up at any hobby store. They're Atlas brand, so they're pretty much everywhere. And, like I said, you get what you pay for. If you look at the, let me get here. If you look at the hair in the point on this, it's kind of rough, to say the least. Not very good. Not very good at all. But, get what you pay for. Pardon me. Now these are the Simply Simmons, whatever, brushes. Now these are excellent dry brushes. Excellent dry brushes. They have, just enough give to them that you can really get in there and work the stuff. So I have a small one, I have a larger one, And this little bugger right here, this size 2 round, since I have been using, Citadel paints, I use quite a bit of Citadel paints for miniatures, but getting the paint out of the pots is always a pain in the butt. With this, it makes it easy. So I use this, bring it out of the pot onto my wet palette, and I don't have to worry about trying to, trying to pour it out of there, or use my good brushes to pull it from the pot to the palette. And these, of course, are my Winsor & Newtons. And these things are getting close to being a year old, and they are just as good as the day I bought them. The point, the belly, everything, they're perfect. They're still perfect. Granted, I'm kind of anal, for lack of a better word, retentive about cleaning my brushes, and I clean them with this stuff all the time. And I also use my 2-in-1 hair, my shampoo with the conditioner in it. I'll do that probably once a week if I'm doing heavy work. If I've been painting a lot, I'll clean them with my hair gel, or not hair gel, my hair shampoo with the conditioner. And then every time I use them, I clean them with this. Every time. It doesn't matter. Every time I use this. Now, on to the Citadels. Alright, we'll go with the dry brush first, because that's the easiest one. The dry brush actually works fantastic. Works as advertised. I like the fact that it's square. Where the old one was around. Where's my old one at? Yeah, right there. The old Citadel was rounded, more of a point on it, and the new one being square. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, I love this brush. But the square one gives me some better options. So I really do like this brush. It works really well. Now, onto the butt side. The layer brushes. I am not sure how I feel about these things. Yes, this is the medium layer brush. It works okay. Not my favorite tool by any shape, form, or manner. Not my favorite. I like the size of it. It holds its tip relatively well. It's not a bad brush, but it's not a good brush. I mean, it's not a great brush. Those great brushes. This, it's an okay brush. It'll get you by in a pinch. So that's the medium layer brush. Now, the small layer brush, on the other hand, this bugger, I do call it bugger. Let's see, get it in the light here. Yes, it has a tip on it, right? And the tip is pretty nice. But every time you touch your model, it splays. And I do mean it splays badly. So you're honestly not keeping the tip. You're just finally dragging it and it splays. I mean, you touch it straight down, it splays. If you touch it from the side, it splays. Now, granted, I could have got a bad one. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say, I could have got a bad one. However, when I say bad, it's bad. because I'm a pretty easygoing guy as far as, you know, my brushes, because I'm not nowhere close to being a professional. So I mean, if I can slap paint on with it, I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. But this thing, no, not real happy with it at all. Um, the paint, the amount of paint it holds, not really consistent. It's the belly on it's just horrible. It just doesn't hold paint like I imagined it would. Um, and the point, I just can't get over the point. It splays every time I go to use it. So let me go ahead and trans back out real quick. In here. Yeah, I'm just not really a fan of it. The medium layer brush, not bad. I can live with it. I mean, it holds its point relatively well. The belly, it's okay. I mean, it holds enough paint to do what I need it to do. It has no snap though. I mean, it just doesn't, you know, But, you know, as you start to use brushes, you'll understand the terms a little better. And it's more about feel than it is about actual what it is. For at least for me, you know, I'm more about, you know, how it feels and when I'm painting, what it does for me when I'm painting. But the small layer brush, I can't recommend it. Cannot recommend it at all. The medium layer, yes, I can recommend it, and the dry brush, definitely recommend that because it is a great little tool. Now the Artificer, now I've heard good and bad on that thing. I personally have no use of it, no use with it, so I can't tell you. But my opinion is, if you're going to spend $20 on a Citadel Artificer brush, buy a Winsor Newton. You're guaranteed quality, you know. Yeah, I mean, Winsor Newtons, they're like anything else. They have a good run or a bad run, or you'll get one bad one here, one bad one there. But hearing about that is very, very rare. Um, but also check out the Scharfs, the Da Vinci's, the Raphaels. I know people that use the Da Vinci's and Raphaels exclusively that don't use Winsor Newtons at all, and they absolutely love them. And hey, whatever works for you, you know what I'm saying? You're going to pay a little more for them, but they're going to last you. You know, you keep them clean, treat them right, just like any tool. You know, if you have an impact gun and you just run it, and you don't ever oil it, guess what? It's going to fail on you. Same thing with your brushes. If you don't clean them and take care of them, you know, when you don't put them, you don't put the paint all the way up to the ferrule. You keep the paint half of the brush. You know, you don't. Let me get the tip off here. You know, you don't store your brushes like this, especially when they're wet. You know, down. When they're drying, always dry them down. You know, and then you can store them however you want them. Upside, like this, or with the cap on, which is the way I store mine, with the cap on and down. That's just me. But if you take care of them, like I said, like any other tool, they'll take care of you. Now, am I going to knock any of the other brands? No. You know, if you can afford Atlases from your hobby shop and that's what you can afford, you know what? Go for it. As long as you're putting paint to whatever it is you're doing, I'm all about it. You will experience some issues, but if you're willing to work through those issues, it's up to you. All up to you. So in closing, again, Citadel brushes, not bad, but not great. Not bad, but not great. All right, we're almost at 15 minutes. By the time I put my intro in, we will be at 15 minutes, so I am going to get out of here so you guys can get on with your day. All right, you guys have fun, be safe, and keep on building, boys and girls. Peace out. We'll catch you guys later.